Okay, guys, it's Chris Prefontaine with Smart Real Estate Coach, and I am joined by Claudia Dill in Arizona, who will not bring up any reference to her weather being better today, and Mike in California, which is even the same story. So I'm getting overran here. So welcome, guys. I want to do some deals. This will probably go out on, I'm thinking, Deal Structure Sunday, and maybe even some YouTube and other things. So Claudia, let's start with you. If you guys can just do kind of like a quick, hey, here's my background, before Smart Coach, after Smart Coach, and then let's jump right into the deal. Let's go to Claudia first.
Okay. I'm a retired physical therapist. I was retired for many years. I've gone back to work as a real estate investor. For the first year and a half of that process, where it was actually a business, I was treading water. And so I came across Chris just somewhere on the internet. I don't remember how.
I don't either.
I have no idea. And so the way he was talking, the way he was organized and everything, it just looked like the real thing. So I gradually progressed into working with him, starting out on the $47 a month thing and progressing to whatever the basic.
I don't know what it was back then.
Whatever we called it in those days. Yeah. And now I'm a high six member. And things are moving. Chris just came out to visit me about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and all of a sudden things exploded very nicely. It was really an eye-opening experience, I must tell you. So most recently, my 2 deals that are the most recent, and then I have one that's pending. They've committed, but they want to run their documents past their attorney. Most recent 2 are 32nd Place, where this was an expired. They relisted. Right as I contacted them, the same day I contacted them, they relisted. They decided to go with me. They got out of that contract with the realtor, and it's a sandwich deal. They were moving out of town for a new job. So let's see. The purchase price was $200,000, and so we were going to give them, I think it was 16. They had, at that time, I think there was $186,000 left.
On the mortgage.
On the mortgage, right. Currently, there's 173 left somehow. Maybe it was more than that. I don't remember. Payday 1 is $23,000. We placed somebody in there within 2 months. I think it was about 7 weeks that we got very good buyers in there, and they're doing very well.
And Claudia, let me jump in. You are right. From memory, I don't have it in front of me. It's 100. I think the mortgage when we took over was 172 grand or something.
Okay.
And then go ahead. So payday 1's 20 something.
23,000. Payday 2 with $337 a month. That's coming out on a 24 or 36. I can't recall. Is a little over $8,000. Payday 3 is going to be $23,000. That pay down was, I think, $250, and so that includes that, and then minus closing costs, because I believe I think we're paying their closing costs. So,
we are paying. Let me say a few things for people that might be new. So yes, we're paying the closing costs when this closes, because when we took over the deal and we did a sandwich with this gentleman, he was leaving the area, as Claudia said, and he's not getting any money, so we can't expect him to pay any closing costs. So
actually, Chris, this is 32nd Place. This is the older one.
Okay, so is he getting cash?
Yes, he is a little bit. But I think it's about $16,000.
Okay, so different conversation. This is good.
You're talking about, right?
Yeah, so so when Claudia and I were out there, I said, Claudia, this is fine. We used to pay closing costs because we were a little bit more aggressive. However, going forward, if someone's getting cash at the end, they're paying the closing costs.
Yeah.
And that was another change we did when we were together. So, okay, sorry I was on the wrong deal, but that was a good lesson to show people anyway.
That's right, and I think this was prior to that concept.
Yeah.
So we are paying them. So the overall is going to be approximately $54,000 on that deal.
Not a bad deal.
Not
below the average, but boo-hoo.
Yeah, and you know it breaks my heart. The tenants are excellent. They've done some nice renovations, subtle ones.
Makes it nice.
They're working on the landscaping. They're keeping the pool up very nicely. So it's win-win. They're good people. The next one, which
Actually, can I jump in again? I'm gonna just ad lib with you here. So
Okay.
I want to draw attention to something you said for the people watching. So you said prior to that concept, I think you guys will both agree, as we progress as a national group, not just us, but as we progress as a national group, tweaks come up to increase payday 1, 2, or 3. That's the goal. And so that one there that we just talked about, increase payday 3 by letting go of closing costs. We constantly do that to increase our profits.
Yeah, exactly. So the next one I picked up on, let's see, November. In November of last year, mid-November, and they also were leaving town for job transfer and other reasons. This one he had only owned it for a very brief time and was a bit overwhelmed. And I think so that's the one where we did take over payments only. He will not be getting any cash from us. We actually are covering about a month because as of Saturday, this past Saturday, I signed tenant buyers into that property, and they're wonderful. They're going to be very good. So that was pretty good. I'm happy with that one. And that started out just taking over payments at about $172,000 again. Sale price will be $199,900.
Mm-hmm.
Payday 1 is going to be $9,600 minimum. These folks had a significant medical debt, so they're going to be working on that first. But they do both have good jobs, and as things develop for them and they're doing better, then they have every intent of paying with bonuses and things like that. But that's all they could commit to at the beginning.
5% though is good. Good stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Payday 2 is pretty thin. It's going to be $37.80, $105 a month. And the reason for that is that we are, in addition to the rent mortgage payments, we are covering the solar lease on that property. We're not covering it, they're paying for it, but I couldn't bring the rent up any higher without not getting a deal.
So just a clarification, so payday 2 is tiny, it's almost non-existent, but while payday 2 is not that big, we're getting a principal pay down of how much per month? A little bit.
That one is $300 a month, I think.
So just so the listeners understand, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And then number 3 is going to be $27,000. That includes the pay down and minus closing costs, because that one we're also doing all closing costs as part of the deal to have him just walk away. So that was his pay for that. Total there, $40,000 roughly.
Okay, so I'm going to state the obvious. So two deals, just under 100,000. And the reason I'm saying that is a lot of people watching these trying to figure out, will this work for them? Well, I don't know. There's a ton of people that aren't making 100,000 a year. And this is not all within a year. This disclosure, this is all within 3 years. But still, we just created $100,000 in the next 36 months. And Claudia's not going to quit tomorrow. She's going to keep doing deals. So it's pretty cool.
Ones. Yeah, I have older deals, and then which are maturing. And then the third one, just briefly, it's I took a contract with a property for. Oh, this was the one where you and I did this one while you were here.
Yeah.
This was the takeover payments at $193.5. Plus $40,000 to the seller at the time of final closing. So that's, rather than pay anything up front or anything like that, we'll be selling. So the price that we took over was $193.5. We're selling for $255. Payments will be, the pay down is $186 on that one, and what was I just going to say? Monthly is going to be about $1,600. So our expenses we'll be getting about $350-400 a month.
Nice.
It's
right on average.
I'm on my way up to meet potential buyer right now.
Nice.
After this.
So all 3 sandwich deals. And one of the things that people always say, you guys know this, is, well, why would sellers do this? Well, one was leaving town, wanted to be done yesterday. What were the other 2 scenarios?
The other one, so the first one that I mentioned, also left town for a new job.
Okay.
So they had a new job. And then the third one, it was had been their home. Then they turned it into a rental. They've had it on the market on and off for 2 years. They live in the same town. She's actually a former real estate agent, but it didn't sell.
There you go. That's why they do it, because people say, well, the market's hot. They're not going to do it. There's people in every market, and there's expired homes in every market because life happens.
That's right.
That's great.
Different stories. Yeah, it all works.
So congrats. And you mentioned, I want to say this too, you mentioned High Six. So these guys are both High Six members. Coincidentally, we have different people on each time. Claudia didn't start as High Six. Mike did. Everybody takes a different path here. So if you're watching this and you're unclear about what the heck we're talking about with High Six, just go to smartrealestatecoach.com and click on mentoring and coaching, and you'll see all the different levels. All right. Congrats, Claudia.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats.
Mr. Mike.
Yep.
You're up.
All right. So I just closed these 2 deals recently here in January. I had them both on the market at the same time. And
Hey, Mike, let's do your I get right into it because I know you guys, but let's do your background. Yeah, because I want these guys to know, like, you guys are real people. You're doing, in your case, you got a full-time job. You just had a baby. You got stuff going on. You're not just like, hey, I got time to do some real estate.
yeah, so I'm in the ag business. I've been in it for about 6 years. And I was just I found Chris like on the internet. I was looking for just another way to basically get out of the rat race is what I call it, and that way I can control, my hours, my time, and basically my income as well. I mean, the work that you put into this is what you're going to get out of it. And I've been trying to hustle as much as I can with the time that I have because I'm still working full time, trying to build this business to support where I need to actually fire my boss is what I like to call it.
And Mike, let me jump in. So when you started with us almost a year ago to date, almost.
Yep. Yeah, it was actually February when I started last year, beginning of February. I really not even started, just kind of talking with you and really, actually, I think that's when I first signed up. That's when it was. It was in February, beginning of February. So yeah, we're talking a year ago.
Yeah, and you said to me, my schedule is going to be insane coming up. I want them to hear what that means. But you flew out here to see us, which we flew you out because you're High Six. And then I flew up to see you because your schedule is going to be insane. But tell them what that means. Like, what do your days look like from like May to September?
Basically, May to September. Now it's even pushed to October now, the way they're doing it, but or the way my company's doing it. But I have an hour commute to work, so I'm leaving here at 5. I'm in the office at 6, and then I get off at 4. I'll be back home at 5. So, I mean, it's a draining schedule, 6 days a week, and it's just a very stressful job. I mean, I'm gonna be straight up about it. I'm dealing with a commodity that has a shelf life. We're not making toys or anything like that where you could just kind of wait and sell it. We're dealing with produce here, and we have to get it out and sell it for the highest price and within a time frame, and it should be successful. So it's a lot of pressure. And then when you're dealing with big volume, I work for the largest grower in the country for the commodities that we sell. So you're talking volume and price. I mean, everything all at once. It's just a lot of stress. So basically, I was just looking for an outlet to create some type of passive income and create time where I can work maybe from my home office and ultimately make more money too, in the long run, and invest in other things. I mean, this program that you're doing opens so many other doors to invest into other things as well. So I'm just learning every day that I'm working on this and everything that you're teaching, and just trying to soak everything in just to kind of grow as a person. And so far in this last year, I've done quite a bit, and I'm very happy with my results with the time that I had. So going back to that, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead, jump in.
Really, that 12 months is not 12 months of constantly working on this. I feel like I really, out of those 12 months, it was maybe a good 5 or 6 that I've been working on this, and that's making my calls and that's buying and selling. You know what I mean? So right now I have a total of 3 deals. I feel like I should have had a few more. I should have had a 4th, but I kind of made my own mistake on that one in the beginning. But hey, it's part of the business. I felt like I'm going to come across some speed bumps, make some mistakes along the way, but
Yeah, but
very
when these
minor
guys
compared
here,
to
when these guys here at the end, I want you to total, not now, do the 2 deals first, of course, that you just closed a week or 2 ago. But at the end, let's do the total of the 3. And Claudia can be thinking about her 3, 4, or 5, whatever she has, what the total all 3 paydays are. That's pretty cool. So go ahead and
Yeah,
jump.
like I don't care about making a mistake just because the paydays are so nice and the deals are so huge. So I mean, it doesn't matter to me. It's all a learning experience and getting paid along the way. Okay, so you want to start on the first one, or?
Yeah, go do those 2 deals that you just closed, which were both sweet.
Yeah, okay, these both are actually expired deals. So actually, when I was working, I was making calls on my way home, and I put out an expired broadcast, and I'm sure you'll learn that going through the course and learn how to do that. But I talked to both of these sellers, and both of them had it on the market for a while, and they couldn't sell it with their agents. Both of these homes are the second homes to the owners. So there were one had a tenant in it, and the other one was vacant, so they were losing money every month. And even the one with the tenant, he wasn't making it; he still had to come out of pocket some money over on top of the rent. So it was a losing situation for both of them, and they were bleeding the money out. And I was trying to be there to offer them a solution. That's what our job is. So so the first one, they owed $405 on the house, and the house they wanted to get $50,000 out of the house. And market for 489. That's about a $34,000 markup. The home has solar panels on it, so the rent or the payments were already kind of high. So what I did was, instead of using adding taxes onto it, I just pretty much said, hey, I added about $200-300 on top of the rent, and just said, hey, look, you're going to get solar panels, your electricity is going to be paid for. Just think of it as your electric bill that's being paid every month, and I included it all in one payment. So that way, at least I can make a nice spread on it and not feel like I had to raise the rent to kind of outbid myself from the other in the market. So this one was being rented out for $29.95. So I actually marketed it at 26 like 50 or 26.95, and added $300 to it. So we're making a monthly spread on this one of 345, which is about average, right, Chris? For spreads,
Yeah, it's spot on. If not,
400 right around there, or 350.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have this house we have under contract for 48 months, but I signed my buyers up for 36 just to give me a year buffer. So if you do 36 months times the monthly spread, it comes out to about a little over 12,000, 12,420, something like that. My payday one, which is the deposit, I got them to put over time 10% down. So that would be 48,900 up front at the move-in. They put in 3%, and then I got them to put an extra 500 every month on top of their rent to go towards their deposit. I know it's getting kind of confusing, but the numbers work out great.
Jump in. I'll jump in, Mike, if I can, because that's an important strategy. You got X amount, bye guys. You got X amount up front, and then to strengthen them really and to improve your situation. $500 extra a month. That's a really good package for them and for you. So I just want everybody to hear that. We're still on payday one, but he added it onto the monthly cash flow too. Super.
Yeah, so 500 extra on the monthly cash flow. So if you were to add that up, to the 3 years, that's another 18,000. And then we also agreed upon the wife, she gets a bonus every quarter. So she said we made an agreement that they would put a minimum of $1,000 every 90 days, so extra on top of all that. So I mean that'd be a minimum of 4,000 a year times 3 is another 12. So right, just off of the extras on top of the payment, that's another 30 plus whatever they put down. We're close to 10% there. So that was a pretty cool deal right there, just because we're getting so much extra cash throughout the 36 months. So basically, this whole deal, I mean, I really didn't even add up the total, how much I made off making off the whole thing. But if you're doing, the principal pay down, I forgot about that. Sorry. The principal pay down per month on this one is right at $600.
Sweet.
So $600 times 36 months is 21,600 plus the back end of 34,000 is 55,600, and then the monthly spreads of 12,420 is 68,000. And then I did that awesome trick, not really a trick, but the strategy, paying 30 days after that for our first mortgage payment. So their first month's rent was $29.95. So that 68,000 plus the $29.95, we're looking at 71,000 on this deal.
71.
That 71.
Yep, nice. I was in the 70s somewhere. I know that. A good, nice deal, right around average.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so on.
That was a pretty cool deal, just because there were strong buyers. There were strong buyers, and they had most of just wanted time for that. Their credit wasn't bad. They just needed time to put. They wanted to put 20% down over time. I mean, excuse me, they wanted to put 10% down over time to get a better rate and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's that first house. That was a pretty cool deal.
Now,
pretty happy with it.
Now, because he's closing the same month, I want them to understand that there's some pretty serious payday ones. There's some pretty serious payday ones over time, and of course, the principal pay down and the monthly cash flow. So it's a game changer for most people, Mike, watching. As you can imagine, you're doing it now. You got a job and you get this extra cash flow coming in. Let's do a summary of deal 2.
Okay, summary of deal 2. This was an expired as well. He had a tenant in there that actually, when I contacted him when it was an expired, he was interested in working with me, but he just signed a tenant up for a year of a year lease, and he prepaid the whole year, so he felt like he was obligated to let the guy stay. Well, it turns out 5 or 6 months later, he contacts me. He's like, "Hey, my tenant is transferring his job, and he wants to move back to the Bay Area, and he wants to move out early." I told him, and you were the first person that I would thought of. He goes, "Do you want to start marketing the house while he's in there? That way I'm not losing money every month. And then when you sell it, we could tell him just give him 30 days and he can move out, and move like he wanted to." So, and then he would get some of his money back that he prepaid. So that way everybody was happy. So it was a pretty cool deal. So we purchased that house. He was, he owed $345 and he wanted to get $10,000 cash back at, in the end at closing. We're in it at $389. That's where the comps are right now. So I feel very confident in that price to making that on the back end. So that's another $34,000 on the back end. The buyers that I got, I got a couple people like in the bidding war on this one, and they wanted to put $80,000 down. And I kind of didn't really care the situation when they're putting that much down, because that's 21% of the purchase price. So their credit really isn't bad. They just needed to establish credit. They were young buyers, so they didn't have too much on their credit. Nothing bad. They just needed more history. So they wanted to put $80,000 down over time. So up front they put $25,000. And then out of that $25,000 was the first month's rent. So part of that was 100% our profit. The other part is part of the deposit. So the payment on that house was $27.25. That house also had solar panels. So I used that same, negotiating tactic, or whatever you want to call it, of basically marking down the price at $300 for the panels. And then just telling them, hey, you're gonna be able to run your electricity nonstop for the $300. The average PG&E bill in this neighborhood was around $400 or $500, so you're gonna be saving no matter what just by going with our program. So they were very happy about that. So they didn't even think twice about it. So $27.25 of that $25,000 went towards the first month's payment that we used, that tool that we used to kind of keep that in our pocket. And then the rest was going to their down. And then on May 20th, which is 2 months after they move in, or excuse me, 4 months after they move in, they're moving in March 1st. They're moving in the next couple of weeks, but we already signed them, by the way. But they move in March 1st, and they're putting in $29,000 they're basically splitting up the balance of the 80,000 into 2 payments. One May 20th, and the other September 20th. They want a little time in between.
Mike, so I can clarify too. So for the people watching, going, okay, lot of profit. You on the closing day last week or 2 weeks ago, you collected a total of 25 and how much? Just for the sake of summary, the 2 deals.
On the 2 deals, well, it was 25,000 plus another 18 about, so 43.
Yeah, so 40. That's what I wanted to hear. So 43,000 cash came in as payday ones in Mike's pocket before doing anything with us. But that's the deals were structured 43,000. That's a game changer for most people. That's not a payment plan. He got 43,000 coming out.
Yeah, and that's not it. They're going to keep paying on top of that. That's like just the beginning of it. So and
I just wanted to put an explanation point on that one. Okay, so payday. So we can get to that on this one. Payday number 2 is how much spread on this one?
It's it's about 310 a month. He had a higher payment, and I had to kind of just add that the solar on top pretty much was going to be my spread, whatever I added on the solar. So it's about a little over 11,160, and then the principal pay down on this house is right at 500, a little below 500. So I would say about 490. So excuse me. So 490. Times 36. This was a 4-year as well, and I signed them up for the 36 months just to give me a year buffer. So there's actually potential to make even more on top of this if they kind of go over their contract.
So is this a 6-figure all 3 days? That's what I'm adding up.
34, 20. Let's see here. Sorry, I didn't even do my totals. I was so busy.
I can do it. I got it. What's your markup on the house from what we bought it from? What we sold?
34,000 back end.
34 in the back end. 80. You're over 100.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Now most people would say, "Why is it
80,000 down?
Jumping up and down."
That's the biggest part. 80,000 down. I mean, it was just, I was like, it was a no-brainer. I had another guy wanting to put 30 or 40. I mean, this house was pretty easy to sell. They put $40,000 in upgrades in the kitchen. And so, I mean, there was just beautiful pictures of the kitchen that we put online, and people were just trying to jump on it. I'm still getting calls on that house till this day. It's kind of funny. I mean, it's off the internet. I don't know how they're finding my listings, but it's they're still calling me on that house. I'm still getting calls on it.
So build your buyers list. So Mike, I don't know if we said at the beginning, you talked about your job, but we didn't say you had 0 real estate experience, correct?
Yeah, the only real estate experience I had was buying my own house. I mean, that's it. So I did work at a bank, for about 5 or 6 years. I did loans there. There weren't mortgages, but I do understand quite a bit of the lending side and all that kind of stuff. I can catch on quick with it. But as far as real estate, no, 0, besides buying my own home. So
how many sellers have you talked to prior to starting with the Smart Coach program? How many sellers have you talked to on the phone? None, probably.
Yeah, 0. I didn't even, I was actually kind of nervous making my first few phone calls. I was studying your scripts and doing all that kind of stuff just to kind of, the whole deal. I wanted to understand it and feel comfortable talking to people on the phone and confident. Confidence is the main thing. Really, if you feel confident in what you're saying, they believe, of course, they're going to believe what you're preaching. So.
Absolutely. So I appreciate you guys. I don't want to take too much of your time or the viewers' time, but I want them to know, because I'll probably throw this on Deal Structure Sundays, that A, you guys are structuring deals just like we teach every single day, and B, pretty profitable. I mean, you're running a job and you got a new family and you got, I think you're over $250,000 in all 3 paydays. Yeah, not a bad. And you said you just didn't even do much.
Yeah, I have an hour drive home every day, just kind of give you an idea of how much I'm doing a week. And on that hour drive, that's when I make my calls, 4 or 5 days a week, and that's basically all I'm doing. Because when I get home now, I have a newborn and all that kind of stuff, and I'm pretty busy. So I have to sleep sometime, right?
I would say so. Guys, any last minute thoughts, like any ahas from just chatting here? Or any last parting thoughts for this, and I'll cut it off.
I don't know. I just felt pretty good about getting those big paydays on those. I know this is my second and third deal. My first one wasn't as big as these, so it was pretty cool to get those big size checks and depositing those in my account and kind of see everything work and feel good about what you're doing too, because the buyers are very happy with what they're getting into. And
huge point.
Yeah, and the sellers are happy as well, that we're taking care of their, we're offering them a solution, and it's actually we're going through with it. So yeah.
Good stuff. I got to say, one of the most frustrating, if you guys have comments on this, I was just working on a new webinar, and the gentleman working on it with me, our new marketing partner, said, well, what are people tired of? Like, what are they frustrated with? Meaning people that call us, like students, right? He said, well, they're frustrated with they're not getting results. That's the biggest thing, right? Forget all the nuances. They're not getting results. They're buying programs and going to seminars and not getting results. So that's all in the implementation. And I think the associate program where we're working with you guys, aside from you guys being high six and we went there, but even without that, we're working with the associates in the trenches. That's implementation. That's the missing piece, I think, in the whole entire industry.
Yeah, definitely. Nobody offers what you're offering as far as the the hands-on help that you guys do with you and your family. I feel like it's one of a kind that's out there in the industry, and it's helped a lot. I don't know about you, Claudia, but it's helped me a lot. Basically kind of boost me into this industry and making money. So it's helped me progress a lot faster, in other words, and not get lost and make mistakes and costly mistakes. And it's great. So
cool. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. All right, guy. Claudia, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to totally agree with Mike. And just as a bit of an example, a glaring and blaring example is I probably have spent prior to this over $100,000 trying to find the best solution to help me become a successful real estate investor. And I echo Mike's comments that none of them were this hands-on, if any. And it was a big waste of money until now.
Cool. Good summary. I couldn't script that better, so I'm going to leave it at that. All right, guys. Listen, thanks a lot. We're all in different time zones. Have an awesome rest of your day.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Claudia.
Thanks so much for watching that video. I'm going to try to come out with more and more deal structuring videos so that you know exactly how to navigate the sometimes tricky waters of doing deals all on your terms. That means no cash, no credit, no chasing investors, none of that. You being able to navigate on deals. Now, how would you like to do those deals on your own? Like clockwork, every single month, eventually one a week. How would you like to do that? How would you like to be putting those 3 paydays in your pocket that consistently? Well, there's one way to do it if you haven't done it yet, and that's to jump on our Quantum Leap System home study program. It's right here below. Click the link, grab the QLS. If you're serious about making this year your breakthrough year, you'll be able to do the same deal structuring that we're showing right now. The big difference is instead of watching, you'll be putting the dollars in your pocket. Hey, be sure to subscribe below as well so you don't miss any of these videos. Look, I don't know if you're going to take action on the QLS. You should right below here, but if you don't, definitely don't miss any of these videos. Subscribe below, and I look forward to seeing you on the future videos. Take care.